Hello, Kindred Spirits. Welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be diving in to see the insights and guidance on their way in for both August as well as Leo season. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful Kindred Spirits, and anyone else who may be joining us here for the first time. If you are here for the first time, do feel free to check out the rest of the channel and consider subscribing as we move through the piles. But today, like I said, we're going to be looking into your month of August, main energies, blessings, relationship messages, as well as Leo season, which as a Leo rising, I'm super excited to be here in Leo season, so I'm very excited to see how you guys interact with each of these piles here today. So these are the three piles which we're going to look into here in a moment, but I do want to just remind you of the ways you can both support this space and support yourself. So I have the Kindred tip jar down below. Everything that goes in there goes right back into the channel with supplies and everything, so ultimately comes back and supports you. But you can also check out the offerings that I provide for snail mail readings, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter and wax sealed closed for your eyes only. I also make sure to send these with so much care for the situation or query or question that's on your mind, to the point that some people have actually said in their reviews and said to me later on that they actually found these readings to be helpful way beyond the situation, and they even revisit them at different times. So they're very fun, they're very tangible and interesting to receive, so do feel free to check those out down below. But with that all said, let's go ahead and look at these piles. So you have three different piles here to choose from. The first one here showcases a piece of red carnelian that might be really speaking to you. So do feel free to check in with your intuition and see if this one is really calling out to you or not. But this is pile number one. Then here for pile number two, I have what I'm going to call a rusty rock for you all when you're looking for those timestamps. But this is a rock I actually got in Nevada recently on a trip, but that is what it is. It smells kind of rusty and it has a really interesting feel and shape. So that's pile number two. And here for pile number three, we have this piece of black tourmaline with these really interesting little intrusions and shape to it. With this point, it's very black. So that is pile number three. So before you start heading off to the timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here to really ground your energy and to really check in with your intuition for the different piles here. So let's go ahead and take that deep cleansing breath here now. So there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles here. You can choose all three of the piles, you can flip-flop between them, which definitely shows up within some of these piles, so feel free to take it at your own pace and in your own way. All of the timestamps will be down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of the video, and you can also check out the other ways in which you can support this space down below and join in with the community over on my Instagram. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and get started here with pile number one. Hello Group 1, if you've decided to choose this piece of raw carnelian, then this is the pile for you. Today we are going to be looking into the main energies that you have coming in and surfacing for the month of August, but we're also going to be looking into your biggest blessings, some relationship messages, and some overarching advice for Leo season. And we're going to be exploring all of this utilizing the charms as well as several different oracle decks and tarot decks, which I'll have all listed down below in the description. So let's go ahead and start getting into it. Feel free to get cozy, get settled. As always, get yourself some water, put your intuition cap on, and play around along with me, right? So see if there are things that show up for you and how your intuition is interacting with the cards and the charms. I always like to give you free reign here, and nothing that comes up in here is set in stone. You're always welcome to change the script here and see what you can make out of these cards in this reading, right? Use it as a tool. So with that in mind, do feel free to send your energy in through time and space here. And let's start looking into three major energies coming in for August for you, Group 1. So Group 1, what do you got cooking up for August, the month of August? Let's see. Group 1, so first off, you have here the Seven of Pentacles, all about patience, taking your time, but also sometimes wanting to rush things. So we're going to see which side of that coin is, if you're feeling more like ready to go and just like raring to go, or if it's more of that patience, sort of gentle nurturing kind of energy coming through with your other two cards. So let's see what other major energies might be coming in for you for August, for the month of August 2023, for group 1 here. So we also have the Death card. Okay, so this is kind of feeling like, because of the colors that we're getting here, and especially this person on the crown, is making me feel like this is like a foundational energy that you're feeling for the month. It might not be something that's began this month, the Death card, and the idea of rebirth and sort of putting something to rest. But regardless, I feel like because of the turquoise and the turquoise here, that just kind of is at the foundation and the foot of this person. I really feel like it has something to do with it being a very overarching, even if it's not actively on your mind, there's something about that rebirth, restart, and putting something to rest, closure kind of energy that's just sort of staying at surface level there for you. So I want to see how that's interacting with our final card here. Group 1 for the month of August. Group 1 for the month of August. There it is. Okay, and then for your final card here, you have the King of Cups. Okay, so I really feel like this month is going to be one that, like I said, has this surface level feeling of kind of needing to possibly move through some sort of grief that you're feeling right now, some sort of closure that maybe is needed, possibly with another individual. It definitely feels like you have to kind of be more patient, give yourself some more grace, give yourself some more time to heal or to grow. I really feel like grief can be a bittersweet feeling, right? Sometimes grief comes in more of that, I'm excited for this next chapter, but I'm really sad for the things that I have to leave behind in order to move forward kind of energy. And because of the Seven of Pentacles, that can come through here. But I'm also getting this like foundational grief feeling that maybe it's something that's resurfacing this month, or maybe an ex that's showing back up and kind of creating a wave of emotion for you, especially with the King of Cups. But because the King of Cups is coming up here, there is this feeling of level-headedness too, because the King of Cups is like the top of the suit of cups, which cups represent our emotions. So if you think of like the most level-headed person with their emotions, doesn't mean the person that's the most stoic or the most solid or the most like they never cry and they're always, stone cold. That's not exactly what I mean, but more so that I feel like you're going to be in a place where you can move through your emotions, feel them, and, even if they resurface, you're able to kind of stay solid and stay grounded and stay in a place that feels less like they're going to wash you ashore, you know what I mean? Or put you in this like washing machine cycle. It feels like just a more mature energy that's coming through. Almost like I said, that I feel like this is something that has surfaced from the past, something that you maybe happened a month ago, 2 months ago, came up a year ago, or even longer, but something that's resurfacing within that creates an emotional response for you, but you're much better at managing that response and moving through your emotions rather than cutting them off cold or ignoring them, distracting from them. I just feel like you're actually truly healing. But I do think that healing that you might be going through this month is going to be one that does require grace and patience with yourself. You might feel a little bit frustrated. You might feel a little bit annoyed that it's even coming up at all. But I do think it is an opportunity to heal or to allow yourself a little bit more grace and a little bit more kindness and compassion for yourself. Outside of that, though, I do think that if it's not something that's resurfacing, it might just be that there are things like habits, emotional habits, or even ways in which like rules that, sometimes we have these beliefs and rules about ourselves that cause us to not feel like we can be patient not only with ourselves, but with other things going on. And I feel like because the death card is showing up here too, this can also represent kind of wanting to move through cycles and break cycles, and kind of start new chapters. So this is also a great month to kind of end things, tie things off with a nice little neat bow and move forward. So this is a really good opportunity for that as well this month. I'm just feeling really called to the watering can, and like remembering that all of us as humans are unique plants, right? We need unique things. We have unique needs that need to be met. And this watering can is just reminding me that, like, you might be in a stage right now where you feel like you maybe need less water now, or more water, or you need more care and compassion, more security, more finances, more whatever it might be, or less of this and less of that. So I also think there can be a little bit of a change in identity, or a change in habits, and even just like your lifestyle from day to day changing too. Like you're kind of evolving as a plant, but very slowly, very subtly. So that's really what I'm seeing here within these cards. I know I've talked on these three for quite a while, so let's go ahead and move to your next card here, which is going to look into your biggest blessing for the month. I know not everyone loves the word blessing, so as a lot of you know, you can also see this as the greatest tool in your tool belt this month, the one that you can, the energy that's just really right on, giving you the best luck, and the one to really keep in mind this month. So what energy is best on your side this month, and one that you can use as a tool? Ooh, okay. Got a few too many there. So I kind of want to give it another go here. Group 1, definitely feel free to send your energy in. That does help. Okay, this one came up again. So it's meant to be there. There's a sense of confidence. And the other thing that I love about this specific card, outside of it saying confidence, this is the boar and the pumpkin, by the way, but both of these elements here of the boar and the pumpkin, they both take up a lot of space. They care about their space. They care about their surroundings. So this could be your home. This could be your body. This could be your confidence. This could be a part or piece of your identity that's allowed to expand and take up more space this month, and to be more on your mind this month. So like I said, this is a great time to break some of those cycles around confidence, around how you interact with your own personal identity. Identity being like, I'm an artist, I work at this job, so I am this kind of XYZ worker, I am a sister, a mother, a daughter, right? Your identity might be shifting and changing there, or you might be tweaking it a little bit, right? It feels like more like a little mechanical tweak. So I think this month, the energy being most on your side is the idea of kind of working with this subtle confidence, and working with this identity change and shift, and I feel like it really has something to do with wanting to give it more space to grow, especially since we have these plants references. So it's like wanting to grow and take up more space in your life. So there might be an identity that you're moving into. So maybe you started a roller skating class, right? And that's now you're like, I'm a roller skater, right? Question mark on the end. So I feel like this is you kind of exploring something and seeing what this new chapter kind of is unfolding and how it relates to your identity or not. So with that said, let's go ahead and now look at your relationship card for the month. So this one's going to relate to a relationship in your life, or relationships in general, and how they might be coming up for this month of August. You could see this for platonic, familial, relationships, spiritual, or the relationship with yourself, however you wish. But let's go ahead and see how that's unfolding this month for you. I feel like I've got a bit of a frog in my throat today, so sorry if my voice is a little weird, but let's see. Transform. Okay, so it says transform here. Rise above any situation and become the best version of you. So the other idea with the idea of identity shifts and changes is also sometimes we have these shifts happening internally, but externally no one knows you started a roller skating class. No one knows you started that new job, or you started playing guitar, or whatever it is, But because you're kind of expanding and letting it take up a little bit more space means you might be letting other people know, hey, I started this thing. And that means that the perception that we have on other people or other people have on you rather, is kind of shifting and transforming and changing this month. And I can see that within your relationships, especially like close friendships, family, and other people who are really quite close to you and understand you on a very personal level, as well as this rebirth and allowing yourself to transform too from the inside out. So from there, let's go ahead and pull you 2 final cards, and then we'll do the charms to finish off your reading. But if you have enjoyed this reading so far, do be sure to give it a like, as we are now going to be exploring 2 cards to look into some energies you could explore this month around Leo season, right? Because we've just moved into Leo season, and it'll be ending on the 22nd of August. So up until that point, this is a great time to explore these Leo season messages and how they might be expressing themselves in your life, because Leo is all about expression. It's about willpower, determination, and a subtle confidence in yourself too, right? It has a lot to do with identity and expression and how we express ourselves. So I'm definitely curious to see how these ones show up for you. So do feel free to send your energy in, and let's pull 2 Leo season cards for you. Okay, so out of that bundle, you got both the King of Wands and the 6 of Pentacles. And then you also had 1 final card in case it resonates for anyone with the 5 of Swords. But I felt really called to these 2 from that bundle that fell, because they really do exude a sense of confidence. Like the King of Wands, they are super confident. They really understand themselves, and they also have like I said, not that it's a subtle confidence in this card necessarily. They're not necessarily subtle about it, but there is this sense of like solidness that I was feeling with the King of Cups and the King of Wands. This really solid confidence, this sense of self that's beginning to form. And then Leo season is also giving you the opportunity as well to share more of yourself more outwardly, which we've talked about quite a bit here, because the pentacles can represent our body, can represent our physical space, literally taking up space, and it's all about sharing, right? A reciprocity. So I also think not only by you sharing this new thing this new identity that you're kind of taking on, you're also showing others how they can not only show up for you, but also how they can show up for themselves, right? A lot of the time, Leo season and Leos in general can be the type of people that are very inspiring and very, full of such radiance, right? Like if you think of them as like the sun, they really light us up from the inside too. They give us warmth to kind of nurture ourselves. So I feel like this month is by you taking up more space, you're also showing others that they're allowed to take up more space too. And I think you can be really inspiring for others as well, just as a general like good consequence to doing so. So with that said, let's go ahead and pull you your final messages with some charms and see what comes through for you. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and let's mix these up. Okay, you've got quite a few charms. Oh my gosh, and they already are making sense so much, especially with that solid rock foundation that I was talking about. Like your foundation is, like I said, there's that subtle foundation of that death card feeling, that resurrection or something coming back up, but you feeling more solid in your emotions or your identity to take up more space there. And you got the solid charm, the charm that shows someone being a rock in someone's life, or very solid and really understanding themselves. And so that's just really cool that we have that showing up here with the King of Wands. This can also represent that, in case Leo season, you even got a lion up here. I didn't even notice that earlier, but in case this card specifically, if your Leo season messages is showing up for you quite heavily, it could be that someone else in your life is inspiring you. If it's not you inspiring someone, maybe someone else is inspiring you. And this usually represents a father figure or guardian. So do take that how you wish. You also got the 2 different charms showcasing breaking cycles, and they both fell near both the death card and that watering can again. And so you have the actual physical break the cycles charm, and then you got the the zip tie that kind of broke, which just represents like a sense of like frustration as well that can come in from there. So it's not always going to be easy, smooth sailing, but I do think that it's something that you're going to be working through. And you also got the tab charm. This one represents something kind of like, if you think of like opening like a can of worms sort of feeling, like you're opening a can of worms, you can't put them back. So I do think once you break this cycle or work on this cycle, that it's going to be really hard for you to see yourself the way you were previously, right? So something shifting that's going to be transformative and quite intrinsic to your identity or to that foundational shift for you. And then to go along with that Six of Pentacles, you also got the number 6. So we're getting quite a few 6 cards, which represent, or numbers, which represent harmony and represent symmetry even. Symmetry being that, like, again, if one person starts to take up more space, then the other will follow. So that kind of feeling too. You have the Fool charm or the Joker. So this showcases more of that humor feeling that I was picking up on. But also it represents the first card in tarot. So again, a first step. But once that step has been taken, it's been taken. It seems like this transformation has been something that's been spiritually kind of on its way in for a while, because we did get the charm that represents like a spirit helping and working in the background, right? Sending signs, signals, helping you out in some way, making sure that this happens so this can happen, so this can happen. So I always think of it as like a chain of events happening in the background to lead you towards a goal or to this point. So I really do feel like spirit guides, ancestors, loved ones beyond the veil, however you wish to see it, gods and goddesses, this is them working in the background for you this month to help make this happen. And then you also have, finally, for your last charm, the unicorn, which represents taking kind of a unique path, or it also does represent a lot to do with identity, in the idea that they aren't going to follow the typical constructs or typical scripts and foundations. So that foundational rumble there of transformation. It also can represent magic too. So see how you wish to view it. But those are all of the cards and charms here for you. I do hope that this has been useful and helpful for you this month, especially in this being such a very transformative time for you. So I really would love to hear your thoughts down below in the description. And also, like I said, do be sure to give this video a like. And if you haven't already, do consider subscribing to this space, as I put out new videos and readings every single Monday for love, career, spirituality, magic, and wonderment. And I also do educational videos too, and have a master guide on charm casting if that's something you're interested in. But all of that will be through my channel, Bits and Bobs, so do feel free to subscribe. And you can also check out all of the different offerings that I have down below and ways in which you could support this space in the description down below for snail mail readings, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's wax sealed closed and typewritten on a vintage typewriter for that fun, tangible, tactile feel that you can really treasure. And then you can also check out other offerings that I have down below alongside the Kindred tip jar. Everything that goes in that tip jar is highly appreciated, although it is not required, but very much appreciated, as that is how I can get more decks and supplies and things like that to continue to grow this space. Again, sorry my voice is going in and out. But thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you decide to choose this particular and very unique rock, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it here so you can see it during your reading here today, as we are going to be exploring your month of August with 3 cards to showcase the main energies coming in. We're going to look into blessings, relationship messages, and then overarching advice for Leo season and how you can kind of bring that Leo season energy into your life. So with that all said, we're going to be using the charms as well as several different oracle decks, which I'll have listed down below, and let's just get right into it. So do feel free to get yourself cozy and settled for this one, get yourself some water, and as always, I don't mention it all the time, but I just like to remind you guys, you can use your own intuition and kind of work with me as we move through these readings. It's never something that's static or set in stone for the entire month, that this is the only energy that's ever going to show up, but it's just the ones that might be most useful to you, and is also, this reading can be used more so as a tool, right? So something that you can continue to blend into your life or use as a warning to not bring that energy in, however you wish. But there's no right or wrong way to interact with this or let your own intuition flow. So let's go ahead and start getting right into it. So feel free to get yourself cozy and settled here, and let's start looking in. Do feel free to send your energy in. So group 2 here. What do you got cooking for the month of August? Group 2 cards are really showcasing this month. Okay, so we've got the adventurous card of the Page of Wands here. They definitely have this adventurous energy, this warm glow in the pit of their belly that is growing and growing, ready to burst. So I really feel like there's this almost Sagittarius energy that's coming through with the Page of Wands, and just a fiery energy in general. So you might be also meeting up or hanging out with someone who is a fire sign in their sun, moon, or rising, or just has a lot of fiery energy in them. So that's just something to keep in mind. But we also have the Strength card. So you really could be a Leo, or just in general, when we get to those Leo season messages, they might just really hit for you. But we do have the Strength card, which represents or rather relates to Leo season. And this idea of strength, willpower, determination, resilience that comes through the Strength card, it represents moving through a really maybe difficult time and overcoming it, or just feeling more flexible and understanding your inner strength as well as your outer strength. So we're going to see how that continues here with your final card. So group 2, definitely feel free to send in your energy, and we'll see what flips on out for you. So here we go, group 2. We also have the Hierophant. For a second I thought it was the High Priestess with the way it showed up. But we actually have the Hierophant here, which is a very different energy, right? We have a lot of energies that showcase sort of moving forward. And honestly, I just realized, and sometimes the weirdest things will kind of showcase to me and to you guys, possibly with your own intuition. But looking at the faces here, you have one face with the Page of Wands being like forward moving, a forward thinker. And then you have the Strength card kind of looking to the past to find inner strength to move you forward, right? You're kind of looking with that strength to move you forward, but that requires looking to the past. And then you have the Hierophant, which really is just sort of in the present moment and kind of maybe what's almost lingering behind you. Something you're maybe working through this month or leaving in the past and kind of using strength to overcome. So I really feel like you might be feeling more adventurous this month, feeling a bit more spontaneous, a bit more impulsive, a bit more playful, humorous. But there does seem to be someone in your life, maybe a Leo or someone who's maybe not as fiery. This can also relate to a Taurus or Earth sign that just is like lingering in your space. It just feels like there's an energy, a person that's lingering and kind of holding you back in some way. This could be a past event with them, a past conversation that maybe meant nothing to them, but like replays in your head rent-free and annoyingly. But there's something that's like, it feels like a ball and chain on your foot, right? Or your ankle, sort of your Achilles heel, from being able to move forward and use this strength. So I really feel like there might be something that you're exploring, maybe not even exploring. It might be something that you didn't mean to explore, but just happens for you to be able to have this adventurous, bubbly, excited, move forward energy. You have to kind of face something in your past this month, or face someone head to head and use your own inner strength now to be able to do so. So this could be an old boss, this could be an ex, this could be a family member, a guardian, a best friend, or it could literally just be a situation that happened in the past that is still kind of holding you back. But regardless, you're going to probably have to face it this month. There's something about needing to face your fears to be able to come out with the greater strength and resilience and understanding and compassion for yourself and maybe others, so that you can continue your movements forward and to continue to grow that fire inside you. Because I really think there's something you're wanting to build and grow and maybe even adventure out on and be spontaneous and impulsive with, rebel against. This really does feel like if you watched the first pile last week, then I really think you'd relate to this pile as well. But that's definitely coming in, this sense of rebellion, a sense of bubbliness, a sense of going against the grain, and a sense of needing to mature as well. By gaining this strength, you're also going to be maturing and understanding yourself on a deeper level. So at the surface level, I feel like you have this adventurous spirit, but on the inside, I feel like you're building strength and resilience this month. So I feel like it's less about like, is it a fast month? Is it a slow month? Are you changing things or doing, big weekend like bonfires or like, whatever it might be. It's not giving us those specific details of the day to day, but it is giving you those overarching details of how you might be feeling and moving through energetically for the month. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and pull you a blessing card. So this could be your greatest blessing for the month from spirit or others in your life. Or through your spiritual practice, but you could also see this rather as an energy most on your side this month. Or you could even see it as like if you had a tool belt of different energies you could pick out and use. This is the one to use this month. So let's go ahead and see what that is for you. A blessing, a tool, or an energy most on your side. So let's see. You have preparation, the squirrel, and the chestnut. And I literally just saw a squirrel earlier this week. That really reminds me of this card, obviously, with the squirrel. But they were like skittering around and jumping from tree to tree. And they had such a fearlessness in them. It's not that they didn't fear or have the strength to be able to move from one branch to the next or jump and leap into the abyss, right? But there is this sense of like knowing their strength, knowing that they have the skills and tools that they need to be able to get from one branch to the next branch to the next branch. There's a sense of knowing and understanding and confidence there that's coming through. And so with this preparation being a part of that strength and confidence, I really think that preparing yourself through this reading and again, using this as a tool to better understand yourself this month could be really useful in that resilience and that flexibility and compassion for this version of yourself that you're kind of moving into. But outside of the bigger energy, it can also just be that like planning things out this month is going to be really useful for you. Getting your planner out, your agenda, your schedule, making sure that other people know what's going on, prepping things is key. So we also have that in that way. So with that said, let's pull you a relationship card. So I like to do a relationship card every month, as you know. And this is going to be looking into any relationship you wish, right? It could be a spiritual relationship, one with family, friends, a romantic partner, or even with yourself. So do feel free to connect with whoever that might be or just in general. And we will pull you a relationship card. So we have change, and underneath it also has beginnings. Don't be afraid to start small. But I'm going to pull out change here. As with the falling leaves, embrace change. So you might have really big changes within yourself that are coming in. Like I said, that you're really growing into a sense of maturity, a sense of strength that you're gaining. But also I feel like something's changing, right? The Hierophant represents that earthly nature, that slow growth, slow foundations moving, things taking a lot of time for change. Earth signs tend to take a really long time and kind of push back against change a lot of the time or have a hard time moving through it. Whereas this fiery energy, right? Fire changes and flickers and moves all the time. So the fact that you have these two energies sort of rivaling each other tells me that there might be also that rivalry happening or that change needing to happen within a relationship in your life. Whether that's to spirit, whether that's to a family member, friend, romantic partner, that's up to you. But I do think you have to face them, right? That full face is showing here and really showcase these changes that are needed in your life. And maybe a conversation might be needed, a harder conversation or a difficult conversation to have. But I do think you're going to gain so much more out of it for having done so. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and pull your next two cards before moving on to the charms. But if you have enjoyed this reading so far, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel, so thank you. You're also welcome to subscribe. But we are going to be using these cards to look into your Leo season advice and also messages to showcase how you can best utilize Leo season to the best of your ability, right? So Leos are all about confidence, and not just like outward confidence, but like an inner confidence, right? With that inner strength, inner confidence, willpower, determination, creativity, creative problem solving, all of that kind of stuff is revolved and kind of are energies that you have access to during the month or during the season of Leo season up till the 22nd of August. So with that in mind, how can you best bring those energies into your life and interact with them? So we're going to see that with your Leo season cards here. And like I said, I was really interested in these ones because of your strength card coming up and that fiery energy kind of lighting underneath you. So let's see. Group 2, Leo season. Okay, so first off, we have the Ace of Pentacles, more of that earthly energy. And then we have the Empress, which also relates a lot to creativity and abundance. So I really feel like this is a great time, outside of everything that we talked about, really, is yes, to make those adventures come into reality. I am getting a sense of like, if you have an adventure or something that you're wanting to really partake in before the 22nd, that's a great time to start facing this past situation or person, especially with that relating. But I also think that it's like moving something from your mind and the preparation on it and actually putting it into reality, right? Not just having it continue in your mind. Like I have tons of projects where I've had them in my mind for months, sometimes years, but you don't always act on them. And so I feel like this is a great month to get something rolling, especially for a creative project, because you do have the Empress here, which represents a lot of abundance, creativity, femininity, if that's something that you relate to, and a lot of humor and play. So yeah, I really feel like your Leo season is just telling you that there's something that you've had on your mind for a while that you might want to creatively play with and explore this month. And that a bit of change in the way that you go about it is needed in order to actually have it manifest into your life and become something tangible and real versus just in your mind or in your dreams. My voice has been kind of going in and out during these readings here today, so sorry if you've picked up on that, but we're going to go ahead and pull you some charms and see what comes in. I don't know what's going on with my voice, but we're going to push on and just play around with it. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and we're going to pull you some charms here. So let's see, group 2. Okay, so let's zoom on in. So you definitely got more forward moving energy with the Ace of Pentacles and about wanting to something from your brain to literally move forward, to get it out of your brain and put it into reality, and having the strength to do so as well, because you do have the Castle charm or the Rook in chess, which is all about forward movement. So we have that showing up here between and blending between these two cards. Then you also have here the Crush charm. So this doesn't have to be a crush on another person, but just something that gets like this inner fire, this like bubbly, blushing kind of flirty sort of nature, right? Flirting with life, flirting with an idea even that I'm getting with this crush. And then you also have underneath it the charm of illusions, right? Like visual illusions. So I really think there might be something that you've maybe, sometimes we'll put beliefs in our mind that we truly do believe, where we're like, oh, I can't do that yet because X, Y, Z. And when we really truly look at it, we started to tell ourselves this belief for so long that like X, Y, and Z is in the way, or not that they're necessarily excuses, but they're just things that we've slowly believed over time. I'm too busy. I don't have the time for it. I can't make the time for it, blah, 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 whatever it might be. And these could be true, valid things, but over time we believe them so much that we carry them even when they start to not be true anymore. And I just feel like that's kind of what's happening here, is that if there's something you're trying to move forward in, whether that's just literally a mindset or something that you're trying to move into reality, I do think that illusion is lifting this month and you're flirting with this idea from behind the scenes, or has been hidden under this shroud of a belief about your situation. You also have, on top of the squirrel here, the star charm, and the star represents navigation, right? If we use the stars as a form of navigation, as like to sail ships or to find out where we are, to find direction, this is what I'm really getting from this charm. And the fact that you had it fall on the head space and preparation card is just reminding you again that there might be something or someone in your life that you still need to like connect the dots on, that'll help you to prepare this month. So there might be someone or a missing key or missing information that's going to show up this month that's going to help things move forward. Maybe it's just that you're waiting on an email, or you've been kind of holding off on something. Whether you know it or not, there's something that's going to help you navigate a lot easier and to prep a lot easier. And then your final charm here around both the Hierophant and the Empress, and even this prep card, it kind of fell between each of them, so you might feel one or the other, is the, it can be a bit of a spirit guide feeling that I'm getting from this card, or this charm, but I'm also getting that this represents like a past situation again. And it also is it's a photograph of my dog Cody, who passed when I was young. It was my childhood dog. So it also can represent like innocence and like something changing there around innocence, like that maturity feeling too of needing to move from like not knowing something as a kid or at this version of yourself to now, knowing that and not being able to go back. Kind of reminds me honestly of the first pile. So I feel like if you're really feeling called to this charm, I feel like it's more of an indication for you to maybe check out pile number 1 as well. Otherwise, pets are just really involved this month and maybe has something to do with your preparation. It could be very literal. So with all of that said, I do hope that these charms and cards have been useful to you for your month ahead and navigating it, connecting the dots and figuring things out. And if it has, do be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below how it resonated for you. I love hearing your thoughts and seeing how your guys' intuition can play around with these readings. You're also welcome to consider subscribing if you haven't already, as I put out new readings every single Monday for love, career, spirituality. I do educational videos on charm casting and many others that I'd like to bring forward. So if there's other educational videos that you guys would like to see, whether that's on tarot, oracle, charms, art magic, however you wish, do let me know. I'm always curious to hear more and how I can make videos that can be most useful to you. If you haven't already as well, do be sure to check out the description to see the Kindred tip jar, which is a great place for you to be able to send in a bit of support. Anything that goes in there goes right back into the channel for decks and supplies, so I really do appreciate it, and it does end up supporting you ultimately as well. And you can also check out the other ways in which you can support yourself down below through the offerings that I provide for snail mail readings, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's wax sealed closed for your eyes only and typewritten on a vintage typewriter, so it's both easy to read and has that fun tactile old world feeling that I think is just really great in a digital world that we live in, and are readings that you can treasure for many, many years to come, and ones you can come back to as well. So if that's something that interests you and you have a question, query, or situation on your mind, then do feel free to reach out down below. Again, thank you so much for being here with me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye! Hello Group 3, if you've decided to choose this piece of black tourmaline, then this is the pile for you. I'm going to go ahead and set it here so you can see it during your reading, and I'm also going to give you a fair warning that I am starting to lose my voice as we get to your group, so if I get weird squeaks or weird sounds in my voice and the cadence of my voice, then just know that it's my throat working against me. But we're going to go ahead and move on to look into the main 3 energies coming in with 3 cards for your month of August. We're also going to look into a blessing card, relationships, and also Leo season and how you can really incorporate that Leo energy into your life. We're going to be doing that through the charms as well as several different oracle decks, which I'll have all listed in the description down below, so you can check those out if you're interested. And yeah, let's just get ourselves settled and ready to go. I reminded the other 2 readings or 2 different piles as well that definitely feel free. I don't say this enough, but do feel free to use this however you wish, right? You can use it as a tool. You can use this reading as fact if you so wish. You can use it as a spiritual experience. You can use it just as an intuition sort of guiding guidepost. However you wish to work with it, just feel free to play around. There is no right or wrong way. And let's just get right into it. So feel free to get some water, get cozy, however you feel cozy, and let's get into it. So feel free to send your energy in, and let's pull 3 cards for you. Group 3. So we already have the 9 of Cups showing up as your first and most forefronted energy here with the 9 of Cups. Much of the 9 of Cups has a lot to do with confidence and an inner fulfillment that's coming through, a feeling of success. So I want to see how that success and fulfillment is really showing up in your life and in what way. So group 3, we also have the 8 of Wands. This is going to be a very fast moving month. Whenever we see the 8 of Wands in terms of timing, that means it's going to be fast and forward moving. There's a lot of things to explore this month. Maybe you have birthdays and holidays and maybe places you want to travel or go to or big events to see. However it might manifest for you. You also got the Ace of Pentacles. I know that the 2 of Swords popped out, but I also was feeling that card as well. But yeah, you have the Ace of Pentacles and the 2 of Swords. We're actually going to end up taking, we'll just scooch this over here, taking 4 cards for you, which I find interesting since it's group 3. And I also find it interesting that you have Pentacles, Swords, Cups, and Wands, which doesn't happen, honestly, as often as you would think with tarot. So you have a little bit of everything, a little bit of spice. So I feel like this month is going to be very fast moving, very quick, very full of willpower and determination and excitement. And there's also just like a bit of busyness that can happen too with the 8 of Wands, which can feel like you can get swept up into the month too. So that might be something to remind you to stay grounded this month, especially with the Ace of Pentacles kind of showcasing a feeling of like taking advantage of maybe the weather that you're having, or going out and connecting with nature in some way, doing some yoga, whatever is accessible for your body movement to maybe get your movement moving, to get your body moving. I'm tripping over my words today too. But regardless, I just really feel like you're going to have like this grounded energy that you might need to explore and to keep your feet on the ground before you feel like you're floating away with your calendar, your agenda, this busyness and this forward movement that's really going to sweep you up this month. But you do have this feeling of success. We have this feeling of success that came in here with the 9 of Cups. So things are very balanced. There is this feeling of like personal success. So it doesn't mean that someone from the outside is going to be like, or what society's view of success is. But I think that like maybe just getting out of the house, or doing something that makes you a little bit nervous, or earning enough money to buy that thing that you've been wanting or needing, whatever form of success that is for you, just meeting some sort of goal that is specific to you is all that matters. But I do feel like there's some form of success that's coming through here in your own personal way. But then we have a little bit of indecision. There's also intuition that comes through with the 2 of Swords, this feeling of making it's not a guesstimate, it's a very intuitive decision, right? A lot of the time we will sit there and we'll write our pros and cons lists, and we will research every single thing that we need, research all of the reviews and go through all of the things to come to a decision. And sometimes we don't even come to a decision because we're so overwhelmed by the amount of information that we're taking in on a decision that we need to make. But this is a decision that is mostly made less from the mind, less from the heart even, and more literally from the gut. Like I really feel like it's about really feeling that decision. There's an impulse, there's a instinctual feeling. So this month, definitely listen to your instincts, listen to your gut feelings. They are leading you towards places of success, and making sure that you don't get too swept up in everything, or feel like you kind of overthink it too much. So there is this feeling of making sure you feel grounded and making sure you don't kind of float away in your research and the possibilities, and just making a decision, right? It can be so simple. And I feel like you maybe are possibly finding yourself in a situation where you're at a crossroads with something, or you come across a situation that you don't even know. We might not know what it is until later in the month, but you might find yourself in a situation where you have to make a very quick decision. So really listen to your gut this month. It's leading you towards places of success. So those are your cards here. We're going to explore them more as we go, and how they interact with the other cards. But let's go ahead and pull you your blessing card. So if you don't find that blessing is really your jam and you'd like to see it in a different way, you could also see this as the energy most in your favor this month, or you can see it as the tool that you use most often in your tool belt, or the one that's going to be most useful to you this month, however you wish. But we're going to look into that blessing tool or energetic message here. So you got, funnily enough, mischief. Interesting. So you have the Martin and Foxglove with mischief. The fact that you have the sweeped up energy of the Eight of Wands here is really giving me more of where that mischief is coming from, especially since they're also looking forward. I feel like this, if you guys want like an intuition tip and you use tarot, definitely pay attention to the way the faces are looking. And so this is showcasing forward movement, and then the Martin here is looking forward, but kind of keeping their tail forward as well. So I do think there's a sense of playful fun, humor, banter. This has kind of come up in all three piles, a bit of that, but I really feel like quite heavily in yours. So I feel like making sure to keep it light, make sure that you don't, overthink things, keep it light, keep it humorous, keep it playful. It is going to be most useful to you this month, is really playing in that space, watching comedies versus watching like that really, really difficult drama that is going to put you in a pit of despair for the next 2 days, and you're going to be a zombie after reading that book or whatever it might be. Keeping it light, I think, is going to be more useful for you this month, or using humor as a way to kind of heal or to use it as a tool. So we have that showing up here. I'm very curious to see how else it shows up. We also have a bit of a fantasy element. Whenever I see foxglove, it really makes me think of the fae and fairies. So if you work with the fae or fairies, then that might be something to think about when talking about the Ace of Pentacles. I know this is not going to hit for everyone, but for those small few, I do also think it's important to understand how maybe your relationship there might be changing. There's also a sense of imagination floating away in the clouds. So even though I talked about a sense of needing to maybe stay grounded, there also is a sense of playing in your imagination and creativity this month too, as well as the humor. So let's keep on moving on. I want to see your relationship message with these Secret Garden cards, and we want to look into how your relationships are kind of manifesting energetically this month, and any advice that's coming through. So this could be for platonic, familial, spiritual, your personal relationship to yourself, or even romantic, however you wish. But let's go ahead and see collectively what's coming through for you all for the month of August, group 3. Ooh, okay, this is a nice one. This one doesn't come up as often as you'd think it would, but we actually have self-care. So your relationship to yourself this month is really important. And you actually got this little watering can. So if you're feeling really called to the watering can and you're not necessarily feeling these messages, or even if you are, I would definitely recommend checking out group 1, I believe. Yeah, group 1. I think that might have a little bit of information that you might be missing. But yeah, you have self-care, tend to your garden. So again, you could get swept up in the month. You could say, hey, I'm a little too busy and I'm feeling like the garden, yes, can be self-care for yourself. But it can also mean that like maybe there's people in your life that you want to hang out with, and that can be self-care for us, right? Sometimes it isn't always about doing things like by yourself. Sometimes self-care is getting together with people that you love. And so there could be someone in your life too that maybe you have been kind of neglecting or not having enough time to hang out with, or not being in the right place to hang out with them, that you might be having some opportunities show up this month, but you're going to have to kind of place a little bit of them more into your life. I hope I'm making sense. Basically to make more time for them, because you could get swept up into the month. Otherwise, self-care being really important this month, getting out in nature, nurturing your spiritual practice, taking that time to watch that comedy, go and see a movie, or whatever self-care means for you. Maybe it's even just getting that overthinking energy out of your mind and just making that decision, whatever it might be. But that's showing up here for your relationship messages. And we're going to go ahead and end with your Leo season messages, and we're also going to be pulling some charms here. But if you have enjoyed the reading so far, do be sure to give this video a like. It really does help the channel so much. And if you haven't already, do be sure to subscribe. But let's go ahead and pull you 2 different cards to see how you could express more of that Leo energy into your life. You may already be a Leo, but Leo, whatever season that we're astrologically moving into, this time being Leo, it's always a great time to interact with those energies. See how you can kind of pull them into your life and use them to the best of your ability. And Leo season is all about like an inner self-confidence, an inner flame, a feeling of willpower, determination, feeling very forward-thinking, and also, Leos are quite radiant as well, and they can be very inspiring and expressive and creative problem solvers. So I want to see how that manifests for you for Leo season up till the 22nd of August. So group 3 here. Let's see what's showing up for you. I'm still feeling that that laughter that's coming from that mischief card. Okay, that was a big one. Okay, so we have strength. Strength literally represents Leo. So maybe some of you are a Leo, like I said, or you have a lot of Leo in your chart. But regardless of if you know that or not, there's a sense of inner strength, a sense of confidence, willpower, and overcoming obstacles that I'm really getting from the strength card. So if you feel a little overwhelmed by this month, I think that Leo season energy is really going to put you to work and show you how you have more flexibility than you think, more resilience than you think, and more strength, inner strength than you think, to get those things done and to move you forward. And I think, again, that grounded energy is going to be really helpful for that. But let's see what else might be interacting with this strength card. Group 3. Okay, let's see. Let me just take a look here. Okay, so the card that we had at the bottom of all of that was Temperance, or is Temperance here. And what I love about Temperance is it has a lot to do with balance, and you actually got like this rainbow in the cup, and then you got rainbows here overarching, which shows like an overarching confidence, kind of moving into your life, and a sense of balance too, right? We talked about balance earlier with the fact that you got the pentacles, swords, cups, and wands in all of your piles. There is a sense of balance coming in this month, and a need for balance too. And I think the way that you can find a little bit more balance is just finding more of your inner confidence and really connecting with that. Also, a bit of creativity comes from Temperance as well, a feeling of mixing and mingling things. There's a bit of alchemy that comes in, and experimentation from Temperance. So, don't cut yourself too short, That's really what the words that are coming through for you for Leo season is don't cut yourself too short. You've got way more resilience, willpower, and capability than you give yourself credit for. And it's a great time for you right now to find some inner balance, inner peace, and a bit more fulfillment just for you, a bit more self-care. Put yourself first a little bit more and have a little bit more fun, especially since we have this garden here and this sense of adventure too, and how that kind of balances in. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you your final charms here and see what comes up with them, and to give you those last little intuitive bits and bobs to kind of connect to. So do feel free to send your energy in through time and space, and let's have a little look. Group 3. Okay, so let's take a little look. So most of your charms kind of fell between these 2 cards, and then you have one charm sitting between both. Oh my gosh, this totally makes sense. The Success Fulfillment charm, and then that 8 of Wands quick, fast movement pace card, or rather card for each of them. But regardless, you got the charm of the SD card here. And this one, I don't know if you guys know much about technology stuff like this, but 32 megabytes is like nothing. It's like one photo on your phone. Or 2 photos on your phone. It's really not that much space. So the fact that it fell between these two is showcasing that for you to be more successful this month, you might have to be a little bit more selective with what you let into your busy life, right? Because like I said, you have so much you could get swept up into it. So maybe making sure that you really check in on the things that you want to like kind of finish up this month or be successful in this month, and make sure that there isn't like fluff stuff that you don't need or that you're overcomplicating the month with, right? Simplify it a little bit. That's really what we're getting here in this sense of kind of determining what is useful in your schedule and what is just becoming kind of fluff or not that useful to you. So we have that showing up here. This can also represent too of just making more space, and you've maybe run out of space, right? Like in the idea of like storage. So in like a physical sense too, it can represent in your physical space, you might be cleaning, purging, or letting certain things go this month that just no longer bring you joy or fulfill you in some way. Because as this card shows, you just have limited space. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other 2 cards here. So you have both the insecure charm. Whenever I see this one, it represents either an insecurity or a feeling of not feeling as secure or capable in something. And then you have the song charm. This can represent music just in general, but it also represents like really singing to your own tune, or like really listening to what your heart truly desires, right? And so we had that kind of showing up literally at their heart, but there's this insecurity that shows on top of it. So maybe there's something in your life that you're wanting to rebel or do something a little bit different, right? That mischief, that humor, and that playfulness, even imagination that we had with the foxglove. And maybe you're just a little bit scared about it, a little not feeling as secure or ready for it. So maybe taking your time is fine, but the song is still calling to you. So there is something within humor, playfulness, imagination, dreams, or even that fae energy to those very specific few, magic even, or spirituality that you maybe want to connect with, but are feeling a little like, I don't know. And that's okay, right? Like we're allowed to have certain little fears that we're still working through, but you might find that you kind of work through that fear this month or start to overcome it a little bit. And then lastly here on the strength card with Leo season, I'm not really feeling a ton from this charm, so I'm going to bring it up in case it is resonating for any of you. There is this, like, it's a diamond sort of energy, so maybe like a diamond in the sky, or there's a sense of order whenever I feel this charm or connect with this charm, is there's like this sense of order. So maybe that is something that's connected to this strength. Maybe your strength comes from order or making sure that things are where they are meant to be. But then there also is the self-care charm. So again, self-care being very much connected to that feeling of capability, preparedness, or to your personal inner strength. And also that your inner strength maybe comes through from other people, and a sense of strength that you gain from other people in your life right now, like those that you're very close with, because we do have the number 3 here, and the 3 usually represents sort of adding other people in, community or connections, networking even. So possibly a Leo is even going to be showing up in your life to help create some more balance for you, and self-care as well. So those are all of your cards and charms here. I hope you did enjoy this reading and that it was useful to you. And if it was, do be sure to give this video a like, as well as let me know in the comments down below how it resonated. Always curious to see how your intuition sort of tingles and plays around with the cards and the charms here. But you're also welcome to subscribe if you haven't already, as I put out new videos every single Monday for love, career, spirituality, and educational videos on charm casting as well as others. So if you have a suggestion of a reading or type of educational video or things on magic or witchery, do feel free to let me know down below, as I'd love to make more videos that are more specific to your guys' needs, wants, and desires here. You're also welcome to check out the different ways in which you can support this space if you haven't already, as the Kindred tip jar is down below. Everything that goes in there is highly appreciated, but not required, but is really appreciated as it all goes right back into the channel, right? It goes into getting more charms, more deck supplies, and ultimately does end up supporting you in the end. So do feel free to check that out down below. You can also check out the other offerings that I provide for snail mail readings, where you can receive a reading in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter and wax sealed closed for your eyes only. They're also super treasured readings by those in the community who have received their own, and actually have found that they, find little nuggets of information even years later. So do feel free to check those out down below for any situation, query, or question that's on your mind that we can explore a little bit further. So with that all said, I do hope you enjoyed this reading, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.